Alrighty, guys, back again here with the midweek commodities update: gold and silver, oil, dollar, all that good stuff here. It's been a week since I looked at it because I didn't do the weekly close update. But here we are. I just did the uranium miners in Australia only recap and the overall uranium recap just before this video. Go check them out. So if my voice is a bit rusty, you can say that is why. So yeah, let's go straight into business. As always, follow me, like, subscribe, give me the good comments, the bad comments, what you like, what do you not like. I will take it all. And yeah, let's go straight into business. Straight into the business for starting with silver. The past 2 weeks, oh dear Lord, the price action has been bad. There has been some major breakdowns in silver, and we are holding on barely right now. Will it hold? I, I don't think so, to be honest. But still, let's look here. This is the first time where I'm suddenly very bearish on silver. At least short term. I think long term fine, but still we could be in for some not a flash crash, but it could get nasty. It really could. Also, when you look at the gold to silver ratio, which we'll look at just after we looked at gold. Anyways, enough of me whining. Let's go straight into business here. Why am I suddenly very bearish on silver, at least short term? Many things, to be honest. The green uptrend here, we lost that one together with that squeeze right there. And then when we finally caved in, we went all the way down to that lower golden trend line, which I hope holds. Let's see. I cannot predict that one, but it looks very bad. Also, we had like a half a year worth of more or less sideways action. So it's very squeezed here, and we're breaking down big time here. With a 30 weekly straight in the middle, it's not the best. I would have loved to have it had reversed. Clearly, that's not the case. That overall inverted head and shoulders is still very much in play. I do hope if we break down from that, I'm just going to give it a scenario. Maybe I'm biased. I probably am. But if we break down from that long-term golden here, that we have the breakdown into not getting below the $19, the $20 level, let's call it 20. And then when we go for the retest, which we very often do, that we snap straight in and then we blast. That would actually be, I will not say ideal, but that would be a very good outcome from this breakdown here if we have to look at the positive side of it. Obviously, if we get the breakdown here, retesting, and now maybe we are rolling over, yeah, that wouldn't be great at all. So yeah, silver getting killed right now. Also, if you look at the gold to silver ratio, let's look at it after gold actually. Gold again, you can see here looks somewhat better, but still we just can't seem to take out the high here. I did expect that this bad boy right there would be a bullish wedge to the upside. As you know, I had it on for a long time. We could just add it in here again. There it is, the lower side of the trend line, and there the upper. But really what killed it was this false breakout right here. Looked very bullish, false breakout, and then we just boom, snap down like 1, 2, 3, roughly 10 red candles or so. And that's not very good. But I think we are very oversold on the daily also. And I think if you go to the 8-hourly, we are the most oversold in, I think, 6 years or so. That's a comfort, but still, I would love it to be a breakout to the upside. And then we went into that all-time highs. Again, it will happen. That's the way it goes for all fiat. Fiat currencies is getting destroyed by inflation. Loss of purchasing power is the inverse of gold, so gold will go higher. But we may be in for a detour here. Hopefully, we hold this level here at roughly $1,800, and we don't make a new lower low here. But yeah, let's see. We are getting a bit of it's a nothing burger today. I think tomorrow we have a big data tomorrow. I can't remember. Jobless claims, I think it is. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's jobless tomorrow, which could be a big indicator. But again, I think in the short term, we will get a bounce here. But again, that's just a counter trend move in the short term. and we are probably rolling over unless we get some big spikes. But again, until that happens, we're in a major downtrend now on the daily, and that's not good. That is not good at all. But hopefully we're going for that retest of the breakout from that bullish wedge, and this is a false breakdown. That's the ideal scenario. That would be insanely good, right? And then we pop again. Wishful thinking at the moment, but that could be a way out. But for now, it's not looking good at all. On the daily, weekly, monthly is okay-ish. But yeah. Okay, gold to silver ratio. I don't have it on my list. I will just quickly add, if I can get the correct list. Why am I suddenly all bearish on gold and silver? Look at it here. We had our major resistance line in the gold to silver ratio. We want this ratio to go down. We do not want it to go up. So what happened here? We had this major blue squeeze here at the end of a major two trend lines coming down here, and now we're spiking to the upside. This is really a really bad setup here. And if we get traction here and we get above that dotted one there, then we could see some big spikes, just like we saw over here. So short term, we could be in for some very big drawdowns for gold and silver. But again, when this happens, it's not just gold and silver. That's the overall market calling for liquidity. That's really what it is. So when we get these major spikes in this ratio, that means that liquidity is nowhere to be seen. So overall markets, it doesn't matter what you're into, will get hammered. It's not just gold and silver. So that's at least a comfort, I guess. But right now, until we prove that this one snaps down here again, I'm very bearish on gold and silver, actually. I can't imagine saying that, but it is what it is. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm trying to give my most unbiased opinion, really. Okay. We have here the Dixie. Major long-term, well, short-term opportunity. Very steep, very well-defined. And now we're above the highs here. Oh, excuse me. Highs here, all this good stuff in there. Are we at the end of this move? Yeah, I really do think so. But again, as long as we're above, I will call it 105.7 and above that inclining moving average. I think it's very bullish for the dollar. But I do think that we're coming to an end here where we hopefully break down. But again, that's wishful thinking. This is a major uptrend. And again, as we just looked at on the gold to silver ratio, the dollar is just destroying everything at the moment. Every single currency, the dollar is beating to pieces. And it, as you can see, they are calling for liquidity. The dollars are just getting more and more sought after. And that's also what you can see in the gold to silver ratio chart, that liquidity is just drying up, really. So let's see what happens here. But again, still big uptrend. We have made a higher high. What will turn this really bearish is that if we have that higher high, a minor high I will add, and we start to break down, then this is a false breakdown above that major level, and then we can have some cascading effects. But until then, dollar very strong. Okay. This is, let's go to the weekly. No, let's stay on the daily. The daily, we had a rising wedge here with a break to the upside. And what's typically happening in such an environment is that if you have a break to the upside, you usually come crashing down. That's the most likely scenario. Again, if the markets, again, this is the bonds. So I'm not that good at, at looking at the bonds, but and how they work. Well, not how they work, but how they act. So it could get very spiky here. But again, everyone is a dollar bull. Everyone calling for 10% rates on the 10-year and so on. I think we're very close to an end here. Again, it's very difficult to call it when everyone is so bullish on it. So, but that's my take. That's my feeling of this, that we will have some sort of breakdown. And we need to retest that high as well. We haven't done that yet. We haven't retested the high at roughly 4.4 or 4.3. So that could be the start of the breakdown from here. But for now, rates are definitely killing it. I do think longer term, the rates will go higher, but I do think we need a somewhat of a decent drop here before we go higher. But yeah, let's see. Rates are very strong. What is not very strong, at least it's trying to break out. It's just trying to break out, but it can't seem to do it. Actually, did we touch? Oh, we did, guys. We did. Look at it. Let's zoom in. Fantastic. well, not until proven otherwise, but we actually tagged our long-term trend line to perfection at roughly 1150. Nice. You can see why it's so important, this long-term trend line. All the way across there it is. And we tagged it today. Again, I'm not calling for it to hold. It actually looks very, very bearish. But let's see. Again, you can see here we're just trying to break out, as I mentioned. Trying to, just couldn't, rolling over. And this actually looks like two false breakouts. And it looks like we're going lower for palladium. Again, this is just such a well-defined wedge that I do think that we will break it to the upside at some point, but it just, the route I cannot predict really. But again, we tagged it. Nice, very nice to see. Platinum getting destroyed. The $900, that zone around $900 is lost. Not good. We have this falling wedge here, which is typically a bullish one. Oh, that triangle there, that's typically bullish. And now we're just getting below here. So we are, I have no idea how we act here, but depending on how we retest that, which often happens, we're retesting that, lower trend line here of the triangle, then that's our future for platinum. The overall inverted head and shoulders is still very much in play. But again, it just can't seem to catch a break really. This good old platinum here. Again, gold and silver getting destroyed. Obviously, platinum, palladium as well is getting destroyed. Metals getting destroyed here. So yeah, I think we could be in for some very hard times in a very short period of time overall for the markets if we don't start to see the liquidity coming back in, meaning dollar going down, rates going down, and the gold to silver ratio coming down again. Copper, good old copper. Right. Here it is. Big levels currently at, let's call it 3.55. Again, there's nothing bullish about this chart at the moment. The only minor branch that we could hold on to is that $3.5 level. We have broken down from the long-term double golden trendline support. Big nasty weekly candle below the 30 weekly coming down. Copper looking very grim. Again, it aligns with copper. It looks like it wants to really break down here from that level if we lose it. And then that just confirms, the gold to silver ratio, the dollar rates and so on, just calling there's no liquidity in the system at all. That's how I see it. This was a major, major squeeze, and we broke to the downside until proven otherwise. But as long as that 3.55 holds, which I don't think it will, I might be wrong, but it looks like it wants to go lower. Unfortunately, nat gas here looking decent, I will say. Let's go to the daily. You can see here we are actually today. Okay, we actually pierced through that $3 level, snapped back quite big, quite fast. We have a gap here, so that's worthy to note. But still, we have taken out that squeeze there, but with a gap up. So that could be a breakaway gap, and they do not get filled as often as normal gaps. Keep that in mind. But still, we are below that $3 level, that blue horizontal trend line at roughly 3. So, but it looks like nat gas wants to go higher again. We're coming into the winter. Makes sense, at least here in Northern Europe. So nat gas should have a good chance of going higher here. Again, the big one is that golden trend line coming down from here. Taking that one out really confirms it at roughly 3.2 in that range. This is the European gas, the Dutch TTF natural gas. Again, we are making higher lows all the way up here. Again, I think we are together with the nat gas in the US. I think we're going to break that 44, unless we break down, obviously. But still, nat gas could be in for some decent gains here heading into winter. It makes sense. So XOP getting destroyed together with oil, and I haven't looked at this chart actually before we just went on. So XOP looked very nicely here, the breakout retest, and then we went into a major topping pattern, and we have it here, the neckline broken actually yesterday. So let's do the measured move for this. I will actually post this one on Twitter afterwards as well. There it is. So we should have a measured move for XOP down to, boom, at least 132. Again, from a longer cycle perspective, you can say that this is a major high, a major higher high, of course, and we should be making a major higher low right here. After we broke out here, it has been a one-way street. So, and that's a big higher high, at least above the minor ones here. We still have the major high here that we didn't take out. But XOP still back into the squeeze here. So we should have some caution when you see a breakout of a major squeeze or a triangle, and then you come back into it. Then you should have some caution because often what you could see is that you get all the way down to the lower trend line. But let's watch. For now, we are interested in $132. Again, I would assume this one breaks down. Yep. Again, we are now well into the green support zone below these high here. Not ideal. Again, the big level or trend line to look for is this upsloping golden trend line right here, which should be coming in, whoopsie, at roughly 310. 300 to 310. That's where I think we should tag it. Then we see what happens. But yeah. Also, if you look at the weekly, I just noted here, it coincides greatly with the 30 weekly moving average. So hopefully we get that bounce. But that should also mean that oil is going higher, obviously. It also retracted big time here today, 5% or so. If we lose it, then you're in for some pain because then you're below the long-term golden and the 30 weekly. And that will not be great. Then we are going all the way down here in my view. So keep that in mind. Lithium, with a bit of a, I can see here, again, these are the charts I'm just looking at for the first time in like a week. Big of a breakdown here. Let's go to the daily. Okay, makes sense. Breakdown retest. There it is. Breakdown retest. And for the bulls, you want to see that to get back in. That's really what you want to see. We are very stretched actually from the moving averages. So how further can it fall? Obviously it can, but still, let's see how it ends for the week. If we get that hammer candle here back into the wedge, that's actually decent early signs that we might have made the third impulse low here with a false breakdown. Again, to confirm it, we need to snap back up and then retest it from above, and that's your entry. At least that's how I do the entry. XLF, I know this one, getting killed. The the green, it's getting late. The red bear flag is resolved to the downside after we couldn't take out that long-term gold trend line. The most, my nose is itching. The most least resistance path is right down here to that flag low at roughly 30. And as you know, when and if that 30 gives in, you take down the 2008 highs, the high here, the highs here, the retesting, and resume it again. My wife just got sick, throwing up all over the place. Beautiful. Anyways, let's finish up this beautiful video here. Again, XLF financial banking sector looks very grim. And again, taking out that $30 level for the banking sector. Devastation all over in my view. See it here. I think that's obviously for anyone taking out that 2007-8 high over here, that high. It's not looking good. We're below the 30 weekly. Below, breaking down from a bear flag. Again, obviously we still have some attempts to make it break out, but for now, very bad. Okay, what do we have here? We have NVIDIA. It's been a long time since we looked at the NVIDIA. I'm still in the camp that we're going to close that gap here, that earnings gap from May 2023. Look at the amazing drawings that I did. Bounce, and I think we're rolling over. I think that's what we're seeing right now. I haven't touched it, and maybe we are correct. In order to get it to be wrong, we need to take out that high from like 3 days ago at roughly 450, getting above. But still, I think it's this is a big roll. Holy shit! Stop! This is a big, topping rollover pattern here. That's my take. That's at least how I see it until proven otherwise, really. So we could be in for, higher highs, and this could be the first lower high. And then maybe the first lower low here in November, maybe. The Brazilian ETF, still I will become very bullish. For now, I'm just waiting to take out 34 on this magnificent long-term chart here, really. Long-term downtrend, we have this minor one here that we need to have confirmed. So I'm waiting at some point. Hopefully we can snap it here and getting above. Then I have my entry. Until then, I will not touch it. Maybe I'm buying if we get down here at roughly 24. It depends on how we get there. If we do like a slow into it, sure, I'm maybe spending half of what I have decided to buy here, and then I will spend the remaining 50% here. That's an idea I have for this one. But I'm definitely buying it here at some point within, well, this can't go on for a long time, this triangle here. So at least within the next year, I'll be buying it. I mean, I assume it will be closer to now than a year, but you get my point. I do think that when the dollar starts to roll over and really starts to have a major correction, major downturn, when they start to print again, because they will, otherwise the market needs liquidity, obviously, as we talked about, then this one should go up as the dollar goes down. That's my theory on that one here. Nickel, what's happening to nickel? Haven't been looking at it for a long time. Nope, it's over. At least for the double bottom here. As again, pointing out previously, major spike here, and then we are getting back into the rising wedge. And the most typical thing that you see when you get back into a rising wedge or any wedge formation that is that you visit the lower trend line. And what happens there is anyone's guess, but you often visit the lower side of the wedge when you get back in. So yeah, I think nickel looks very bad at the moment, and we're in for some more downturn. That's probably when we bottom right today when I say that. Okay, what do we have here? SILJ? No, SIL, excuse me. Again, together with silver, obviously is taking a major beating. I don't have any lines on. I cleared it just to show you. That's looking very bad. It sure is. And then we have this one here. Let's make it green, because I think if silver really starts to get below 20, which it could, then I think the buying opportunity lies down here at that trend line, 25% away from where we are today. Well, not looking good, but that's how I see it. If we were to really get a big sell-off panic event, we could overshoot obviously to the downside, but I think we will go down here at least to roughly 17. That's a bold statement, but still we are in a big downtrend here on the weekly, below the 30 weekly, still coming down, and we're just going lower and lower and lower, and we haven't made any higher high in a very long time, and we'll probably, yeah, let's see. Again, I'm not going to be doom and gloom, but it really does, the gold to silver price, the dollar, and the rates just looks short term. It could be very volatile, very. Same thing here again. We had our blue wedge clearly. As you can see, we broke to the downside, so the trend is down. 30 weekly should be coming down big time soon. The gold miners juniors looks very grim. We have support right there. Not that far down, actually. Let's see if it holds. But that is our main overall squeeze right there. This one really needs to hold. Otherwise, we can see further pain. Here we have it. Oil at the end. Right there. I don't know what that is, to be honest. What's happening to oil right now? Let's go to the daily. We are getting back to our $84 level for the big neckline retest, and I think the move is over. We have major double support. Actually, no, the green one just got taken out, but the main one here at the neckline is where we are now, and I do expect a bounce here. For oil, obviously getting below the neckline, that would be very bearish for gold, for oil. If we do get below, let's call it 83, 84, 82. There are some highs here, you know. So getting below that would stink big time. But again, major higher high here after the neckline, and I think we're looking at a higher low right here in this vicinity. Hopefully we stop here, otherwise we have to really get down into the 70s. That's all I had for today. A lot to cover. It doesn't look good at all. It really doesn't. But again, I'm very pessimistic, so that's probably the bottom, right? I don't know. But still, I'm just giving you my honest opinion. And gold and silver is taking a massive beating right here. But we still have some hope left. But taking out that 22.2 on the silver, that was trouble straight from the beginning. Have a great one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Do you agree? What do you see? Is this really, am I too bearish? Maybe? I don't know. Give me a comment below. I appreciate it, guys. Have a great one. And this will be the last video for today. Then I've made 3. I think that's a great number. Have a great one, guys, and cheers.